All right, the next one, also not in the fun category. We got more TRANS-tifa terror. Pretty wild stuff coming out of Canada, where two people were killed in a shooting in a high school hockey game in Rhode Island, but that's really not the story. The story was the shooter was a person who is believed to be Robert Dorgan, shot his wife and I guess 3 children. One of them died due to a quote-unquote family dispute during a high school hockey tournament in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. And this is one of these things where you have to read the details to believe it, because this is a person who had mental health issues, clearly one of the most male-looking people on the planet aside from his gigantic breasts. So this was a person who had gone through, quote, gender reassignment surgery, and his wife had recently filed for divorce from him because he has narcissistic traits and a personality disorder. Who would have thunk it? But to publicly try to execute and successfully execute multiple family members, let us just add this to the list of TRANS-tifa terror that we've seen in recent years in this country, from Nashville, the Nashville shooting, to the suspected assassin of Charlie Kirk being in love with a trans person, to that horrific shooting in the church, mowing down the kindergartners as they prayed. And I've made this point recently on the show, and I'll continue to make this point. We were told specifically, if we don't embrace the entirety of trans culture, then the trans are going to kill themselves. And that's why we need to watch them mutilate their bodies. We need to chemically castrate them. We need to make it so that quote unquote trans children are able to transition without their parents' knowledge, even elementary school or middle school. And so what are we getting now? We're getting a fact that they are, as all the studies have shown, they're not becoming significantly happier. They're not becoming healthier. They're not becoming wiser. What they are doing is it's apparently increasingly violent and willing to shoot people, including their own family members, in public. 3 people are still in critical condition at the hospital. And the media, as always, is just entirely irresponsible. The New York Times, this is their lead story on their article on this. At a later news conference on Monday night, or this is a line from it, chief conclaves of let me make sure I get the exact location. Pawtucket said the shooter was born in 1969 and went by 2 different names. Yeah, the 2 different names were Robert and Roberta because this man, thought by lopping off his penis and installing some fake breasts made him a woman. So this is a person who needed deep mental health checks and someone who should be away from polite society. But we indulge them, and then they're not happy with as far as we go. And then they end up becoming violent. This is very important that we note this and we take a moment to reflect on this. The more we normalize the transgender stuff, the harder it is to rein this stuff in. I saw a clip I kind of couldn't believe that took place again. This was the Munich Security Conference. This was Sarah McBride, formerly known as Tim McBride, talking to none other than Hillary Clinton. This is a congressman who acts as though he is a woman. This is the content that we're getting from Sarah McBride. Can we please play cut 8?
And a strong man's greatest asset is scarcity. When there is scarcity in jobs, when there is scarcity of opportunity, they pick boogeymen, or in this case, boogie people, and they blame them.
Boogie people, that's right. We got to remember the exact way to define boogeymen. Could be boogie people. So he's talking to Hillary Clinton, which is why the optics are unbelievable. Is that he is suggesting that we're just demonizing the trans. What are the trans contributing? What are the great contributions that we're getting? We're getting division, we're getting chaos, and we're also getting quite a bit of murder at this point. All right, that's the next story. The next story that we got, this is a lead story right now as we're recording on Breitbart News. Congressman Randy Fine is in big trouble now because Democrats are calling for him to resign because he said Americans will choose pets over Muslim supremacy. Here's the context here. The Muslim advocate for New York City now, Nurdeen Kizwani, said that, quote, dogs definitely have a place in society, just not as indoor pets. Like we said all along, I assume meaning Muslims, they have unclean and I guess nails. Is that the quote? Anyway, the point is that this was a tweet. that the Muslim Advocate for New York had put out. And then people were pouncing on it, millions of views. People saying, wait a minute, we're not going to have dogs as pets in New York City? And she responded, LMAO at the Zionists, blaming the Jews, frothing at the mouths of this, thinking they're doing something. It's obviously a joke. I don't care if you have a dog. I do care if your dog is defecating. She did not use the word defecate everywhere, and you're not cleaning it. So it was not a joke. It was posted publicly to Twitter. She only said it was a joke after a lot of backlash. And Randy Fine, the congressman who is very good at getting attention, provocateurism, he comes out and responds 3 days later and says, if they force us to choose, the choice between dogs and Muslims is not a difficult one. This, of course, has the left hopping mad. Ro Khanna, Democrat, says taking an alleged comment by one person and attributing it to everyone who shares that person's faith is the definition of bigotry. Well, it's not an alleged comment. You can see the tweet right now. Finally, NYC is coming to Islam. Dogs definitely have a place in society, just not as indoor pets. Like we said all along, they're unclean. That's the exact tweet. I'm staring at it right now. Ro Khanna's out like this is some sort of an alleged comment. So Randy Fine's done something here which is actually kind of compelling because he said something that's very aggressive. And it's not something that, would be easy to defend at a polite dinner party.